What's up, Don Scott? Good to see you. LA Courier, my friend Eddie. How are you, buddy? I'll be out there today. Good morning, Miguel. Good to see you. I don't know if I understand that question, Miguel. Can you see what time is Dash in the Bronx for me? I don't know. I'm not sure I understand that question, Miguel, but if maybe you ask again, we'll get to it. I'll figure it out. All right. What is happening, fellow pioneers of human transportation? I'm Yogi Steve, and you're watching another Electric Scooter Academy live stream, the official Voromotors podcast. What are we at, number 43? It's getting up there. We've been doing it for a few months. Always just to be clear and honest and upfront, the podcasts are sponsored by VORO. They pay me a little bit of money to do every Wednesday and Sunday. All the other podcasts, all the other streaming that I do, I don't get paid for other than by your super chats. And everybody's been very generous this month. I want to thank SD, a local driver who you might see in the chat today, for dropping a $40 cash tip on me, like in person, first time ever. I mean, I hesitate to take money from another driver. We're not rich people, and 40 bucks is a lot. But the driver was like the idea that there's no commissions. You know, with super chats, I pay 30% to DoorDash. But I hope everybody, to DoorDash, to YouTube. But I hope everybody's good. So here we are. It's Wednesday. I'm doing an early morning stream just because I got a crazy long day. It's also been a while since I sat down and did a podcast with you guys. I've been doing a lot of on-the-road podcasts, and I kind of got a message from up above from the bosses, from my friend Melvin, the owner of the company. He's like, hey, I really like these sit-down podcasts. So I want to make sure that I do plenty of these. So probably for the next couple weeks at least, I'm just going to do the sit-down podcast. It really gives me a chance to talk and connect with the viewers, the subscribers. And I still will be doing live DoorDash streams because I really like doing that. It really helps that people have been very generous. I get quite a few donations during those streams. I hope they're really helpful. I think that's the best way to teach about doing deliveries and to also, what is this here? To teach about doing deliveries and to also show the scooters. You know, I've said for a long time, I got my channel, it's not really so much about, my fucking dog. It's not really so much about doing DoorDash on electric scooters. Obviously, that's exactly what the channel is. But what am I trying to demonstrate? What am I showing? Am I saying to people, this is a good way to do DoorDash? Should you do DoorDash on electric scooters? So I'm not necessarily saying it's a great way to do DoorDash. It's really a great way to test the scooters. Let my ego talk for a second, and I'll tell you for sure, I'm the only DoorDash driver out here. I'm the only YouTuber It's early in the morning, guys. I'm still waking up. I haven't even had a bong hit yet. I'm the only YouTuber one of the few YouTubers that really rides their scooters with high volume. Now, there's a lot of great YouTubers out there, Freshly Charged, Ginger on Wheels, Electric Scooter Guide. These guys all, they're great YouTubers, and they ride scooters, but very few people do what I do. Like, I consider myself a professional driver because I do 500 to 1,000 miles every single month. And I'm sure I'm in the top 0.5 or 0.1% of humans in the entire planet that have driven at least 35,000 miles on electric scooters. So yeah, I've been doing this. If you're new, I've been doing this since 2019. Channel is generally about high-powered scooters, almost always big dual motor scooters. I just think I'm probably one of the only persons in the entire world that drives as much as I do. And it's a big part of my lifestyle. Not only, I don't even own a car. I don't know if you guys even know that. I don't even own a car. 2019, I think, maybe 2020, I sold a car to one of my friends. Very sad story too. This poor guy, he also drives a motorcycle. A good friend of mine, is sad, and it's easier to talk about now years later, was killed on his motorcycle, where he should have just been taking my car to work. I sold him my car so he wouldn't drive his motorcycle. He wanted it so he wouldn't drive his motorcycle so much. Recognizing the inherent danger of driving your motorcycle every single day. And one day he went to work. He was in a rush, so instead of getting into the car that I sold him, it was a 2008 Kia Spectra. Yeah, that was the last car that I owned. And he got hit by a truck and died. And that was really sad. So rest in peace to my friend Aaron. A long time has passed since I can even talk about that. But I ride these scooters every day for everything. If I'm not riding my scooters for work, I am riding them to the grocery store. I'm riding them to my girlfriend's. I even have a doctor's appointment. You guys know I had a big accident like 2.5 years ago, and after the accident, I finally got health insurance, and I finally been like going to doctors for checkups. I'm 54. I'm gonna be 55 at the end of the year. Birthday's in November, and I have an appointment at San Gabriel Valley for the doctor's appointment, and it's like an hour away by car, but it's only 15 miles. So I'm contemplating taking one of my scooters from Hollywood to San Gabriel Valley. And if you guys know LA, that is an insane trip. People do not take their scooters this far. But I feel like the bigger scooters, the big $3,000 and $4,000 plus scooters, they're just as good as a small gas moped. The only difference really is, in my opinion, is there's more maintenance and repairs necessary for electric scooters than when it comes to gas scooters. There aren't really, getting your scooters fixed can be difficult. I'm super blessed because of the channel. I have this great connection with Voromotors, so if I have a problem, I can bring my scooter there. They're not that far from here. They're like 10 or 12 miles away. I've driven to their place in Panorama City before, but I can get repairs pretty easily. One of my best friends, Ryan, is an unbelievable mechanic. He's actually got one of my scooters right now. There was something I was having trouble bleeding the brakes on one of these old Dualtrons, so he's kind of an expert at everything basically, but he's particularly a Dualtron expert, so he's working on that for me. But he picked the scooter up, he's gonna bring it back. I don't get it for free, but I do get a pretty good deal because a lot of people don't know this, but repairs on electric scooters, it's expensive. Why? Because there's not many people who can do it. If you wanna be a PEV repairman, you gotta do brakes, you gotta do tires, that's obvious. And that's not so different than knowing about bikes. If you can work on bicycles or motorcycles, you can do brakes and tires. Then there's the frame. The frames on these scooters are sort of unique. And then there's the stem specifically, the locking mechanisms. They're sometimes very hard to repair and to maintain. But point being is I'm super blessed. I have an unbelievable situation. So do I recommend doing DoorDash or delivery work on electric scooters? Not necessarily. People often ask me, what scooter do I recommend for deliveries? And I'm always very honest, and I say I don't necessarily recommend doing deliveries on an electric scooter for these reasons I just said. But if you want to do it like as a hobby or for just some extra money, that's how I started. I was a full-time trainer, 2019. I got like 15 fucking full-time students. I have a gym here in my apartment. At the end of this video, I'm going to do a little walk around in my apartment, and I'm going to show you the scooters that I drive, and maybe I'll show you my gym as well. I train people for years. So anyhow, 2019, I had like 12 to 15 super regular private students. It's a fantastic business. I love doing it. And then COVID hit, boom. So COVID was good for electric scooters because if you remember, like the stand-up scooters the rental scooters kind of came about during COVID. And so that got me into, buying my first scooter. I bought an Emove Pro GT. For some reason, people make a lot of the same mistakes when they're looking at scooters. They often overemphasize like the smallness of the scooter. Like I want something very small. So this Emove Pro GT, this fucking company went out of business. This company fucking abandoned me. I couldn't get a battery for the scooter. I didn't know anything about it. It was quite amazing actually thinking about 2019, 2018 even, where man, if I had like a repair problem, I would just buy another scooter. It was crazy. So when the battery on the Emove Pro GT was very small, it was very cool, like an 18-mile-per-hour scooter. So and I loved it. So I never laugh at anybody on a commuter scooter, on a small scooter. But I'm remembering now on that Emove Pro, the brakes went. And man, this was so long ago, like I didn't know anything about brakes. So I drove around on a scooter for a while, for many months, with no brakes, and I drove with my feet. I mean, that's the cool thing about YouTube. That's kind of why I started YouTube, because I wanted to get older and be able to look back and look back at, what was I doing at that time of life. So watching me drive around on this scooter where I would just brake with my feet is fucking crazy. But you do what you have to do. And I did like that scooter a lot, but then that evolved into me getting I think my next scooter after that was like a Segway, like an ES4, which is really just like a commuter scooter with an extra battery, a little faster than a commuter scooter as far as acceleration, but still a 20-mile-per-hour scooter. So I drove commuter-style scooters for the first year, slow scooters. And then eventually I started buying Dualtrons. I have this super long history with Dualtrons. I mean, can I list all the Dualtrons that I've had? My first one was a Dualtron Ultra. Then I bought a Dualtron Limited, Dualtron 2 Limited, which has been in my mechanic's shop for like 4 years. It's not that he can't fix it, it's just that it needs a controller and we can't find the controller anywhere and I don't need the scooter. So I don't know if you've ever done this, but people do this with cars even, where you bring your vehicle to a mechanic and just leave it there indefinitely. And this is my close friend because he should be charging me for storage, but I don't want that fucking scooter in my apartment. My apartment I have too many scooters in here right now. I'm looking at right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 scooters in my living room. And what I do is I store my scooters in my gym, but when students come in, I move scooters into my living room. And when my girlfriend comes over, I don't think she likes, I know she hates it, to walk into this apartment like full of scooters. It's hard to walk around. It's like bad feng shui, if that's the right terminology. But I'm just giving you my background. So I have a Dualtron Ultra, a Dualtron 2 Limited. I bought a Dualtron V2. I bought a Dualtron, what was my last? I have a Thunder 3, which I got rid of. I just sold it actually because my relationship with Mini Motors is I'm not happy with that. So I needed to make some money out of that deal. So I sold that scooter to Landry. You guys know Landry from the channel. I made a full video with him. But anyhow, so I have crazy experience with scooters. So whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later, please drop questions. I pretty much answer every question in the comments. I used to be more diligent about it. And then I got busier, the comments started racking up, and I probably missed some questions. But if you ask twice or 3 times, I'll eventually get there. But I love the interaction with the members, with the viewers. So let me say hello to everybody, and then I'm gonna give you a breakdown of what we're gonna talk about in this very rare early morning stream. Again, I'm just streaming this early because it's 9:30 now. I have a 10:30 student come in. It's really an 11 o'clock student, Sensei Moyer. I have 3 students left out of my 12 to 15 that I had before COVID. Super blessed because it's good money. I mean, training people is very good money. I have no overhead. I train people in my gym. It's a fantastic situation. But I only have 3 students left. I have my buddy Evan, a guy like in his early 40s. I have Dulcinea, same age. And Sensei Moyer, who's like 71, 72 years old. He's a real boomer, but he really tries to stay in shape. He's a trained martial artist, a very experienced 8th degree black belt, very interesting guy. But he's coming in today. His appointment is for 11. I train him at Wednesdays and Sundays at 11, but boomers, he will often show up 20, 30 minutes early. and I'm ready for it. So at 10:30, the stream's gonna end, and I gotta like kind of get ready for my student. And also, if I'm gonna smoke anything, we need to smoke before 10 o'clock. Get all the smoke out of the room. Because one thing about boomers is most of them, unless they're like real California hippie boomers, they're not really into herb that much. So I don't want somebody who's paying me good money for training to walk in here and smell herb. You know, I feel like the community, the world has changed a lot. I mean, we have legal herb in half the states, recreationally legal, and pretty soon I feel like federal legalization is coming. Point being is, I don't want my student to walk in here and smell herb in the air. And do I smoke early in the mornings like this? Yes, I definitely do. Hey, Rahal, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. It says, stay safe and always wear a helmet. Yeah, I can't emphasize enough. The super chats are supporting the channel. I used to make $500-600 a month just from my ad revenue. Now I make like $200 a month from ad revenue, and I make the rest of my money from YouTube from super chats. I also make affiliate sale money, just to be clear. The last 2 years were way better than this year. I think the economy is just different. We're gonna talk about this. I don't even know if people are buying stand-up scooters right now. I'm not really selling a lot. And I feel like that could change. There's a lot of new stuff coming to VORO as well, which we are gonna talk about. But let me say hello to everybody. Now we're already 17 minutes in. Let me say hello to everybody, and then I'm gonna do a breakdown of what we're gonna talk about. Good to see you, Don Scott. I know you bought a Dualtron Storm with my bonus code. When I had a Dualtron bonus code, I really appreciate it. LA Courier in the house. Make sure you give him a sub. He's my local friend, Eddie. He does all the B-roll stuff. If you've ever seen the intro that I've got, when I drive the Cruiser, the Emove Cruisers, just the Cruiser, I only drive the all-wheel drive now, front and rear motor. But he made the intro for me, and it's very, very cool, very professional. Say hello to Eddie. Make sure you go to his channel, click on it now, LA Courier, give him a sub. He's about to reach 1,000 members, so he can live stream himself as well. And then also at 1,000 members, you get monetized, so you can make a little bit of money from his videos. Getting monetized is a big deal. Miguel Cabrera, how you doing? Burcoloni, say, do you smoke weed? You must not know who you're talking to. Yeah, I smoke a lot of herb. I've been smoking herb since, I hope that sound of the dog chewing their, let me put my dog on the balcony. Ripley, that's annoying. Come here. Come here, Ripley, come on. Come on. Come here. Go get it. Lie down with that. Lie down. I don't know how bad the sound of that is with a dog chewing the bone. But yeah, I've been smoking herbs since I am 24. I started late. Like I smoked herb in college a couple of times. And weirdly enough, I was kind of very body dysmorphic in college. And my big fear with smoking herb was what it did to my appetite. I'm already like an absolute junk food junkie. I know I'm not like overweight, but my blood profile shows. I just recently got blood work done for the first time since childhood. My blood profile shows that I'm a junk food junkie. My cholesterol is high. My kidney function is for shit. My blood sugar is slightly elevated. I just bought a glucometer, by the way. I want to start tracking my blood sugar, and I'm working on it. It's like a nonstop process, me and my diet. But when I was in college, I smoked maybe 10 times in 4 years. But every time I smoked, I was like, man, I can't stop fucking eating. You know, most people order pizza in college. When I was in college, we ordered cookies. We had this place called, I think it was Dave's Cookies. I don't even remember. But it was these like amazing fresh cookies that you get delivered with milk. And, you know, the 10 times that I smoked in college, man, we'd order these cookies and I would eat like 20 of them. You know, I'm like an animal. Like I have a crazy, I'm lucky I don't have anything wrong with my stomach because I got a crazy digestive system. Like I can eat a pint of ice cream like it's nothing. I actually went through a phase of life where I'm pretty sure I ate 1,000 pints of Ben & Jerry's ice cream over the course of 1,100 days. Meaning like every 9 out of every 10 nights, I would sit down and just slam down a pint of Ben & Jerry's. I don't do that so much anymore, although I do occasionally eat a pint of Ben & Jerry's, but you know, I'm 54 going on 55. I gotta cut this shit out, so I'm saying it out loud, so maybe it'll help me make the change. So Bercolini, yeah, I smoke a lot. Okay, Miguel Cabrera says, what DoorDash schedule in the Bronx? If I was working, if I only had DoorDash for money, I didn't have my YouTube channel, my personal training clients, I would make sure to work at night. The night time is the best time for deliveries. Actually, as the days have gotten longer here, I've been working like a 4 to 7:30 shift. And man, the hourly rate is just way higher. I mean, breakfast, you can still make money at breakfast, but you're gonna make the least amount of money. For lunch, you're gonna make a nice amount of money, but there's nothing better than dinner. A dinner shift in any market has got to be the best time to work. So you're in the Bronx. You know, I was born in Brooklyn, right, Miguel? I don't know if you know that. And my girlfriend from the Bronx. We were a very cool couple, I think. We were both Californians, very cool Californians, but we're from back east. We're from the same area. I'm from Jersey, but I was born in Brooklyn. But just definitely, Miguel, work night shift. You got to work night shift. So that's the answer to that. Cyberdecker, how you doing? Old school follower. Eddie V, what's going on? How many deliveries? That's weird, Eddie V, because LA Courier's name is Eddie Vargas, but you're not the same person, obviously. Says, how many deliveries can you make on a day with a scooter? I usually do like 15 a day. I usually do 7 to 10 per shift. I work 1 to 2 shifts a day. Oh my God, your next comment is so funny, Eddie V. You have a girlfriend? How did you do that? Yeah, it doesn't go beyond me that your demographic on YouTube is going to be people similar to you. So I think my demographic on YouTube is males, 25 to 50 years old. Hello to the women out there. I know I have some women viewers. And, but how did I get a girlfriend? I don't know, because I think my demographic that I'm talking about, we struggled getting girlfriends, right? Because we're fucking nerds. I got a girlfriend. How did I get a girlfriend? I got a girlfriend by getting older. Like, I feel like even the biggest fucking nerd, if you're like a dork in high school, college even, you'll get older and you will, unless you're completely, I don't know. I feel like I don't know guys my age. It's very, very sad to meet guys my age in their 50s that never really had girlfriends or have very few or really still struggle with it. So I got a girlfriend by manifesting self-acceptance, but by loving myself. And I think I got a girlfriend by being honest. You get older, you'll meet women that like the wackiness of nerds. So yeah, I don't know how I got a girlfriend. I have an unbelievable girlfriend. She's an MD. She's a fucking genius. Super well educated, 10 times smarter than me, makes more money than me. How I got this girlfriend, I don't fucking know. But I'm super blessed. And I spend a lot of time with her. We don't live together. She actually lives like pretty close to me, but we have dinner every single night. So how I got a girlfriend, I don't know. But the way I maintain a girlfriend is by giving her a lot of love and attention, right? So try to answer that. Hey, what's up, Jim? How you doing? Mr. Hoodlum 420 says, take the subway to the valley. I can take the subway to San Gabriel Valley. I'll look into that, Jim. Mr. Hoodlum 420, my local friend, lives right down the street. Maybe that's a better idea than driving. I just feel like 15 miles on a scooter is nothing. When I do a shift, it's 30, 35, even 40 miles. So I feel like it's not a problem for me to go that distance. My girlfriend was, not happy with the idea that I'm going to go from Hollywood to San Gabriel Valley on a scooter, but just 15 miles is nothing. I could take side streets. I'm not going to take the freeways, obviously. But yeah, I'm going to look into that, Jim. That's probably a better idea than fucking driving out there. I mean, there is some element of it. It's funny, like, even though I do these 30, 40-mile shifts for deliveries, it's a lot different than going 15 miles straight. I remember when I drove to Voromotors, I haven't done this for like a while, like 6 months ago. I drove my InMotion RS, my favorite big stand-up scooter. I drove that all the way out to VORO, and I realized that, like, standing on the scooter for consecutive miles, it's different than doing like 1, 2, 3 miles, stopping, 1, 2, 3 miles, stopping. That's what a delivery shift is like. But driving like that type of a distance, 30 people in the chat, that's pretty good. I wasn't sure if you guys would be up this early. But driving like that distance is hard. It was actually harder than I thought. I didn't realize how hard it is. So probably going to San Gabriel Valley, if it's 15 miles and that's like by the freeways, it might be 20 miles. So I don't know. Probably a better idea to take the fucking subway. I should probably just take a whole day off and take the metro out to the valley. I mean, I'm sure I could just bring my scooter onto the metro and get myself close to San Gabriel Valley and then and then take the scooter the rest of the way. I'm pretty sure. I haven't been on the metro for a long time. The metro is like, come here, buddy, come on. Let's say hello to Bishop. Come on, let's go, jump. It's one of my 2 little dogs. I haven't said anything to anybody yet, but I had to put down one of my dogs. It's real sad. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember Max, but I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to fucking cry on the stream, but I had to put down one of my dogs. He was old as fuck. But I still got 2 awesome dogs. I got my pit bull and my little chihuahua here. This is Bishop, not named after like a religious bishop, but my dogs are named from Aliens, the movie Aliens, one of my everybody's favorite sci-fi movie. And Ripley is my big pit bull. She's here looking at me. She's being jealous. Fuck you, Ripley. Go eat your bone. But I'm a big sci-fi fan, big nerd, of course. So my dogs are named after characters from Aliens. So this is Bishop, not named after the religious Bishop. People always think that. He's named after, you know, the android from Aliens. And he's a really good little dog. I adopted this dog, you know, a long time ago. He's probably 10, 11, 12, who knows. But I love lap dogs. Like, I love having a big, my whole life I had a big killer pit bull. And then I was in a relationship with somebody who brought a small dog into my place. And I realized, oh shit, I like small dogs too. So when that relationship ended and the dog left, and the girl, I got this guy. When I went to the pound, and he was the first one that I looked at, and he's such a good boy. He smells bad though, no matter how much I bathe him, which I don't really do a lot, but he stinks. Still saying hello to people. What's up, Wayne Wallace? How you doing? It says magnetic personality. Yeah, that's how I get women, I guess so. Chexologist says, noon here and I routinely ride 20 miles on my e-scooter. Wow, that's a lot. Good thing there's a dealer here in New York City to get your scooter serviced. Yeah, that's the good thing about living in like a major city. There might be some places where you can bring, let me help my dog. She got her ball stuck. That's the good thing about living in New York City or really in any major city. Maybe you're lucky. Maybe there is a scooter dealer in your town that can work on your scooters. In Los Angeles, there's nothing. There's no like very, very few official PEV repair shops. You can go to Voromotors. They have a great repair shop, of course, but I can't think of another place where you can bring your vehicle for service. I know there used to be like a Segway dealer somewhere not too far from here, and maybe there are dealers that I'm just unaware of, but it's not like the car business where like you can go down to Santa Monica Boulevard near where I live and there's like row after row of car mechanics. So like I drove a Honda for years. I used to go to this place called Affordable Honda, and you know, it was great. It wasn't expensive and it was easy, and you could just bring your car in and like in a day or two they fix it. But with scooters, there's nowhere to go. You know, you have to fix it yourself. So again, people talk about buying scooters, and these scooters can be problematic. I often say, like, are you ready to work on it yourself, or do you have somebody to help you? People ask me, what's the best scooter? What should I buy? Again, I often will say, don't worry about what scooter you buy. Worry about what you're going to do when it breaks. The electrics portion of a scooter especially, very, very difficult to fix. I mean, if you don't know anything, you can learn tires and brakes probably on your own from video. But like I tried to teach myself how to solder and how to do electrical work very early on in my my career as a YouTuber, and man, that didn't work. I don't know how to solder. I don't know how to fix anything electric with these fucking scooters. So yeah, before you buy a scooter, make a plan for repairs. Also, by the way, when you buy a scooter, buy tires, buy brakes, and you know, you're gonna need that shit anyhow. So Chexologist, good to see you. Wayne Wallace, thank you very much. Green Wave, how you doing? Says Yogi Steves Scooter Guru is live. You know it, baby. Green Wave says, mostly I have issues with flats and tubes busting. I like tube tires. I think the general consensus of tires is that tubeless are better. I love tube tires. I don't know why. They're just, maybe because most of the split rim scooters that I have tube tires, and I can do split rim tires on my own. To this day, I can't do a regular tire change without help. Like I brought my InMotion RS, is one of my favorite scooters, like I'll keep saying over and over. And when I needed a new front tire always goes sooner than the rear tire. Luckily, you can pull the tire off the scooter with like a plug and play wire. It means it's very easy to disconnect. And I brought the tire, not the whole scooter, just the tire to Voromotors, and they put a tire on the rim for me, and then I was able to put the rim back on the scooter. But I've always had trouble with, I'm always worried because I feel like I'm like a destructive person. Like I can, like, you know, like I can easily, like, I don't want to break the rim on one of my tires. So I've tried over the years, like putting rims on tires, and I feel like, shit, I'm going to bend the fucking rim. Once you bend your rim, you're fucking fucked. But yeah, so yeah, I like tube tires. Chexologist says, I spent 1/10 of my total capital spent on maintenance. I hear you that. Chexologist says, 1,500 miles on my scooter now. That's pretty good. That's very, very good. Am I racing bike racers? I don't really race. Chexologist says, tube tires with sealant is the best. I agree. Green Wave says, Yogi Steve is getting younger though. I wish that was true. I'm just getting older. Bercolini says you should make a podcast. This is entertaining. I mean, this is the podcast, but I don't have it on platforms. That's something I need to do. I put all this work into these fucking like streams and podcasts, and I should learn how to get on Spotify or some other like podcast venue, but I don't know. I got so much on my fucking plate. I haven't done that yet. What's up, LA Courier? Good to see you, buddy. Press the like button, Cyberdecker says. Chexology is on their VMAX VX4, baby. The VMAX line, that's the electric scooter guy, like private line, I think. Rick Roberts, how you doing? This is a good question. We're going to talk about this. What do you think the future of scooters looks like? You think they'll go faster, or are they fast enough? Bigger tires, longer range, prices will probably go up. Okay, that's a good question. And so I've said this before, like on Voromotors did one podcast when I went to VORO, they sat me down, I talked with the mechanic and Melvin, and they asked me, about the future, like what can we do to change the scooters? And I really feel very strongly that the stand-up scooters, even the bikes at this point, they're not really gonna change that much. How much can you change a skateboard with a motor and handles? That's what the scooters are, or a sit-down electric bike. What I think is going to have to happen is there's going to be like some advancement in technology with batteries. We need more juice in smaller space for these batteries. Lithium is a horrible, like environmentally, and I'm not even an environmentalist, but lithium is just a horrible, horrible way to create and store energy. Mainly one that's, as far as I know, the most lithium is like mined by child fucking slaves, like in the rest of the world. And the battery is also super heavy. We need a new technology where the battery will have a lot of range, but be lighter. The problem with these scooters is half the expense of the scooter is the battery, and then more than half the weight often is the battery as well. So I think in the scooters are not going to change that much. I mean, like I love, again, my InMotion RS, I love this scooter. I can't imagine like how much better can a scooter get as a stand-up scooter. But if I get the same scooter that gets 100 miles range, I often, I'm friends with Will Sir. You guys know William Cervantes, the YouTuber. He was my inspiration for my channel. I've known him for 7 years. And he went from riding electric bikes to a gas-powered moped. And again, if you want to do DoorDash and make a lot of money, get a gas-powered moped. That's the way to go. But he does these trips that are like 250 miles. Because on a gas-powered moped, you can fill up. Like there's gas stations everywhere. So for electric, there's zero infrastructure for PEVs, right? Zero. I mean, maybe you could like plug in somewhere, but it takes a long time to charge these things. So the future of electric scooters, I don't know. I actually wonder if electric bikes will just fully eventually take over the stand-up scooters. The stand-up scooter niche it's weird. It's like, come on, jump, come on, monkey, come on. The stand-up scooter niche is weird. It's like a very small niche, and I don't know about you. I live in LA where there's a lot of PEVs, but I just don't see a lot of like some people call them. You guys remember Old Man Dan from Scootopia? He was the first person that I heard call these scooters hyper scooters. It's like a big rental scooter, but it's like super fast with longer range. But I barely see them. I don't see Dualtrons, Cabos, InMotions. It's weird, like, I don't know if it's weird, but there's so very few of them. We're in the world, all of us watching here, of electric scooters. So I think it's easy to think it's bigger than it is. But like big, fast, stand-up scooters, in culture, they're not very popular. I don't really see them. So I do think that the younger generation likes bikes, right? Like a bicycle has been around for years. People ride bikes, love bikes, all types. So for lack of a better word, I think like the Sur-Ron type bikes, which now we're talking about E-Ride Pros, Talarias, all these different types of bikes. I don't even know the name of the bike that VORO sells, the E-Ride, and also some other brand, which I don't know much about because they never gave me one. I never even borrowed one. But I think there's a chance that the big stand-up scooter market will fade away and it'll just become a bike market. I don't really know. But you got to think about like what young people like. I think young people like e-bikes, right? It's a very easy transition. Now, I'm aware too, by the way, that young people, I never like drove a kick scooter as a kid. I didn't even know what a fucking kick scooter was until I got into this. But apparently kick scooters are very popular for children, basically, for little kids. Although I've heard in Australia, like there's like a sport, like an electric scooter sport that adults do. But I don't know what the future is. I know that I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I like standing up. Even on a good bike with good suspension. My problem is, You know, I'm 54, but I've had lower back trouble since I'm like a teenager, since I was like a weightlifter as a teenager. I don't know if I fucked up my back as a teenager or it just was a existing condition, like a bad back. So when I sit on a bike and I ride it for any length of time, that bouncing up and down, it really hurts my back. Like I couldn't have a job where I sit down like this. Even sitting down in this chair for an hour, when I get up, my back feels stiff. But standing up on the scooter, it's almost like therapeutic for my back. The way I describe it is I have like very, very strong legs, great quads, great ankles, great knees, good hamstrings, but my lower back is like glass. It's called like one of my mentors, persons that I followed as a trainer, is a guy named Pavel Tsatsouline, very famous kettlebell coach, invented his own system. He talked about how some guys just have a glass back, and that's me. I have a glass back. So I don't heavy squat with a barbell. I don't heavy deadlift with a barbell. I mean, I did for a while as an adult until I was 40, into my 40s, but I stopped doing that. So when I stand on a scooter and I feel like it doesn't bother my back at all. Like I almost never have like back pain at the end of a really long shift. So I think the stand-up scooters will always exist, but I just think that the younger generation likes e-bikes. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off my notifications. Chexologist says it's not fair pitting an e-scooter against bicyclists, considering the majority are non-e-bikes. Chexologist says I needed another long-range scooter so I can have backup. Yeah, I do feel like having more than one scooter is crucial. Oh, you're almost 27 now, Chexologist. You got to watch your health. Unfortunately, I'm still lanky and need to gain weight. I remember talking to you about this. Yeah, weight. A lot of guys have trouble gaining weight. I've trained a lot of people, younger guys who have trouble gaining weight, and it's usually because they think they're eating enough calories, but at the end of the day, they're not. Electric Rider, where you been, man? You're late. Good to see you, buddy. I just want to make sure I say hello to everyone. I have a list of what we're supposed to talk about. We're going to talk about it in the last 10 minutes. I made a mistake. Greenwave says, anyone ever used a dog to pull a scooter? My dog is a sled dog, and I'm thinking about trying it out. That's fucking hysterical. Make a video. Electric Rider says, a lot of cities don't have any repair shops for scooters. There's a lot more electric bike shops. I agree. Don Scott says, on really long rides, just standing in one spot on the scooter gets a little tiring. I hear that. Sniper 2K6, how you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Rick Roberts says, I really don't have the space for a bike. I like to have the option to fold up my scooter. Yeah, and put it in the back of your SUV. It's interesting, like, I never fold my scooters up. Unless I'm putting a scooter in a car, I never fold my scooter up. It's crazy. Like, I just leave the stem up. I have kind of learned, like, if you do fold it up in an apartment situation, it does take up less space. But I don't know why. For some reason, like, I'm looking at these scooters in my apartment, like, I don't fold my scooters up. Dead Broke 305, what's going on, my friend? Good to see you. Hans, how you doing? I gain muscle, but also fat. Been trying to keep my steps high. Hans, walking is the way to go, for sure. All right, guys, I actually have to use the bathroom really quick, so let's listen to this Metallica song. You know this song. I'm gonna pee and then I'm gonna come back. Sorry about this. I'm on this sort of high volume water thing. Both my girlfriend, again, who I say is an MD, always says I don't drink enough water. If I ever have a headache or anything, she's like, did you drink any water? I'm like, no. So in the mornings, I slam down a ton of water. Also, I'm on TRT. I've talked about that a lot. And all the guys on the TRT forum say, drink a lot of water. You know, because TRT can kind of make your blood thick. Does water help? I don't really know. But anyhow, I went to the bathroom. All right, so we only got 20 minutes left here, and I haven't even talked about what I want to talk about. There's 3 things I want to talk about. I might not get to every topic. I'm going to talk about the new scooters that VORO has coming. I did want to touch on whether tariffs are going to increase the price of scooters or not. And I also want to talk about racism in the driver community. If I don't get to this in the next 20 minutes, I will have to, I'll come back in the next podcast, or maybe even just, I'm going to stream today. So if you want more of this, I will be, I'm going to put on my live streaming gear. It's a pain, like I like doing the DoorDash live streams, but it's a pain in the ass because I got to carry my extra fat battery, 2 wires. I have to wire into my GoPro. It's a real fucking pain. But since I get super chats, it's worth it. New scooters coming to Voromotors. I feel bad. I should have led with this. The Tevon brand of scooters is coming to Voromotors. Tevon, to me, when I look at Tevons, I feel like this is what Dualtrons would have become if they would have changed their design and their models at some point. So to me, Tevon is like a better version of a Dualtron. I don't know about the build quality, if it's going to be as good as a Dualtron. But Tevon line of scooters is coming. There's going to be, I don't even, what are the names of these fucking scooters? Let me look these up. I know one's called the Fighter Supreme. Look this up real quick. I know the one is called the Tevon Fighter Supreme. I don't know if that's a smaller one or the bigger one, but I'm gonna look this up really quick so I make sure I get the names right. I have to start learning these fucking names. This is always my trouble with the Cabo line. Until I own one, I can never fucking figure out, like, which one is this? What's the name of this one? All right, so here, let's see here. All right. Oh, shit. All right, so the Tevon, 2 models coming. One's 2200. One's 4300, pretty high-end scooters. The first one I'm probably gonna get, I'm gonna get the Tevon Fighter Mini Pro electric scooter, which is still a big fat $2,200 scooter. It's gonna be very, very cool. It's got a lot of carbon fiber, goes 40 miles per hour. You know, they advertise it with 50 miles range, but come on, it's a what's the voltage on this thing? We get to the spec sheet really quick. Okay, so it's a 60 volt, 25 amp hour battery. So you're only gonna get 50 miles range on that in first gear if you're lucky. But it's gonna be super quick, 60 volts, fast enough. 72 volts are what the bigger scooters have. Most of the $2,000 price range scooters are 60 amp hours, 60 volts. So it's got a 25 amp hour battery, which is kind of small to be honest with you. I mean, my Emove Cruiser has a 30 amp hour battery. It's a totally different type of scooter. But I'm excited to have one of these. Talking to Melvin, the owner, I think this will be the first one they're going to put me in. I don't know if they're going to give me one or lend me one. I mean, they basically give me everything. But I know that one, when VORO brings on like a new company, they're just a distributor. So they're not like getting like super great prices. You know, they're buying them wholesale, straight wholesale like anybody else. So this will probably be the first scooter that I'm in. The Tevon Fighter, the Mini Pro Electric. And I'm very excited about that. I think that's going to be fucking cool as shit. What I'm even more excited about, and my friend Louis, the Average Guy 1983, make sure you give him a sub. He's pretty easy to find, the Average Guy 1983. He's a good local friend. Another guy, by the way, who's helped me mechanically. He also put a tire on my RS. I brought a tire to his fucking house and he did it for me. Eddie is sort of like a PEV genius. Like, he doesn't do it for a living. He's got a regular job and a family. But he can do anything with these scooters. But Louis bought one of these recently, Tevon Fighter Supreme 7260R. And that stands for 72 volts, 60 amp hours. Like, this is a novel scooter. It's, for $4,300 for a 60 amp hour battery, that's almost cheap. So I am looking forward to getting into one of these Tevon Fighter Supreme 7260s. 72 volts, 60 amp hours. That means the range is gonna be crazy. My biggest battery scooter is 40 amp hours. InMotion RS, 40 amp hours. Dualtron Thunder 3, 40 amp hours. And even like the big Cabos that I used to ride, Cabo we don't represent anymore, those were only like 30 something amp hours. So a 60 amp hour battery, I can't even believe, like, how big is the deck on this thing? Yeah, because the battery's always in the deck. But this scooter, I'm really excited. Whether VORO gives me one or whether they lend me one for a few weeks, once we have these scooters, I'm gonna be out there riding these things like fucking crazy. I can't wait to see this scooter. I mean, 60 is, for me as a DoorDash driver, the limitation is the range of the scooter. So I really like I've been making crazy content with my Emove Cruiser V2. Normally the $2,000 range scooters are problematic as the batteries are small, but man, I'm getting up to 40 miles range on this scooter. I absolutely love it. It's lighter. So this scooter is probably heavy as fuck. Let me see if I can see how heavy this scooter is. The big Tevon scooter. Oh my God, it's 141 pounds. And half of that is the battery, I promise you. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. 13-inch tires, very cool. 4 piston brakes, very, very cool. Yeah, 62 miles per hour top speed. It says 75 miles range. I bet you if I put it in first gear, I could get even more. Yeah, Green Wave, I agree. 70-60 is fucking nuts. So I mean, talk about like a big, it's actually a very good deal price-wise because the InMotion RS, I mean, technically it's like 4,000, but I think they're advertising it as like 3,600 with a discount right now. I have a bonus code. It's hard to get people to use that because you can buy directly, whatever, I shouldn't like to talk about that. But anyhow, 60 amp hours, that's fucking insane. 141 pounds. Here's the thing about my Emove Cruiser V2, the all-wheel drive that I really like a lot, it's just lighter. And when I'm out there manipulating the scooter like in apartment complexes, in and out of restaurants and shit, some restaurants I bring it in, it's lighter, it's just easier. So these big 120 pound plus scooters, they're fucking pain in the ass to navigate around. They're fucking crazy. Yeah, but I'm real excited. Voromotors has the Tevon line coming. Let me see how they have it advertised. Okay, they're saying delivery between May 10th and May 14th. So whatever that means. I don't think they're in stock yet, but that probably means in a couple weeks, they're gonna deliver me one. I'm excited about that. I can't wait. It's been a while since I've been into new scooters. There are new Roadrunners coming out. For those of you guys who are aware of the Roadrunner line, the sit-down scooters, there's a new one coming out, a couple of them coming out, but I think this whole situation, this will be a good segue into tariffs. I think the whole situation with tariffs is making everybody hesitant, especially with new scooter production, if costs are gonna be fucking crazy. Say hello to new people coming in here, and then we're gonna talk about the tariffs. Yeah, Victorus, the Tevon Mini does look fucking cool. You got a 60-pound scooter, Chaxologist? That's a good weight for sure. Mr. Spoogelspore, how you doing? Oh, they modified this. Don Scott says they modified the 7260, making adjustments to the suspension and geometry to make it more stable at speed. That's very cool. Mr. Spoogelspore says, my dad used to ride unicycles, LOL. I bet he'd love an EUC, but he'd probably die if he fell nowadays. EUCs are fucking awesome. EUCs are fucking awesome. Don Scott's asking me, what's Melvin saying about looking for property outside the U.S.? I remember he was thinking about it. Yeah, at one point, they're probably still working on this. I know that Melvin, the owner of Voromotors, wants to have his own factory in China. He went to China. I know he went there and looked into it for real. I think right now, everything is probably on hold. I really can't say. But like with the tariff situation, and again, so let's segue into the tariffs. So, my opinion on the tariffs is, one, are they even being enforced yet? Are they actually here? It seems like it's mostly a political tool. Like I haven't seen price increases on much yet. I know Voromotors recently advertised that the E-Ride Pro, like kind of have a fixed price increase. And every single scooter, I was kind of against this. Every single scooter dealer on the market right now, if you go to their page, is advertising, including VORO, is advertising prices are gonna go up soon because of the tariffs, buy now. Is that a good way to get people to buy? I guess if you're on the fence about buying a scooter and you know prices are gonna go up, that's a good way to get people to buy. But I don't like that as a sales technique, like the threat of increased prices. There's nobody who doesn't know about tariffs, right? I mean, this has been like the giant fucking news story for months. So are products actually going up in price like right now because of the tariffs? Are the tariffs just being talked about as like a political tool? Or is the prices of products actually going up? So you look at all the dealers, there's like maybe 5 major dealers, Voromotors being the biggest dealer in the country, probably the world. And then there's all the smaller dealers, which are still pretty big. But every single one of them, like even Segway, which is just a very old company, if you go to their sites, they're saying that prices are gonna go up, buy now. I don't really like this sales technique, to be honest with you. I don't really like the sales technique of the threat of scooters pricing. I actually think that if the prices of scooters and e-bikes go up substantially, what's going to happen is people are just not going to buy them and they're going to wait because they assuming that it's just a temporary situation. But who knows? You know, the president of this country keeps vacillating, keeps changing what he's saying about these tariffs. So nobody really knows. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think these tariffs are really coming, or is it just a political tool? Yeah, Chexologist says it's BS marketing flummery. That's funny. Yeah. Bring on the noodles. How you doing? But yeah, so that's a good question. Like in my mind is, are these fucking scooters going to go up in price to a point where nobody buys them anymore? Like, I don't really know what's going on outside of my own sales. I know that in 2013 and 2014, I sold a tremendous amount of scooters. Now we're into 2014, fucking stoner. 2023, 2024, I sold a lot of scooters. I sold almost $1 million worth of scooters with Voromotors. I don't know if I'd really put that number out there too much, but to me, it's like the most impressive thing that I've done. I get 3 to 5%, so I'm not like rich from it. This is over 2.5 years. So it's substantial money for a working class guy. But this year it's been a lot slower. You know, there's for one, we're not selling Cabo anymore, so that's like the big scooter. I mean, the inside word on like the InMotion RS is like, I kind of alluded to this. I don't sell a lot of those because there's so many dealers out there selling them. You can buy them on Amazon, I think. But are these scooters selling? Is 2025, is this kind of the end of the surge of stand-up scooters? I wonder if 2023, 2024 was still kind of getting the after effects of COVID. I feel like COVID is when stand-up scooters just blew up because that coincides with the time that rental scooters came into the market. So I feel like big stand-up scooters will always sell to a certain degree as long as there's rental scooters out there. Because there's no better advertisement for stand-up scooters than the rental scooters. That's how I got into scooters. It was 2018, 2019. I was training my friend, one of my friends who I was still training, one of my students, and we wanted to go out for some food, and we wanted to go into the neighborhood. And on the way back, I was like, I don't want to walk home. Let's take one of these stupid rental scooters. So we rented scooters, and holy shit, it was like super, super fun. Hey, what's up, Frontier 884? How you doing? JPL Ride's also coming in late. Not buying anything PEV until this tariff stuff is over. That's what I think is happening. I mean, you could buy it now because it's not like prices haven't gone up yet. I did notice, though, that I think AliExpress is taking advantage of the potential situation with the tariffs because I purchased, I buy all my brake pads. It's not like Voromotors will give me scooters, but they don't give me like maintenance stuff for free. I still got to pay for shit. They'll give me service for free, which is nice, but I buy all my brake pads off of AliExpress. So I bought a 4-pack of pads for my my InMotion RS, which also fits other scooters. And I bought it like 6 months ago. It was like 12 bucks. And then I need more of them. I always buy them in advance. Like I have 1 pair left, so I'm down to 1 pair, I buy more. So that same 4-pack is now 20 bucks on AliExpress. So that's kind of a sign that companies are raising their prices somewhere. That kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you, because I don't think they're paying more for anything at this point. But these are just, you buy from AliExpress, you're buying directly from like the manufacturers, right? So, yeah, that's happening. But are the tariffs coming in? Ooh, JPL Ride says, I bought a 4-pack of pads for $30 on eBay. AliExpress sounds good. I mean, $30 might still be a very good deal. I know that, like, the big scooter dealers charge 12, 15, even more dollars per pair of, not really per pair. Per pair means front and back. I think it says pair because a pad is 2 pieces. But, yeah, so if you're smart, if you need stuff, go on AliExpress now. If you need pads, tires, any parts or anything, buy them now. Prices have already gone up. So I love buying off of AliExpress. It's amazing how fast stuff gets here nowadays, too. It used to be you'd order off of Ali, it'd be like 6 weeks. Somehow I get stuff in less than 2 weeks. It's crazy. So obviously there are price increases on parts. I'm definitely seeing that for sure. Okay, so other topics I wanted to talk about, which I guess we only have 5 minutes left. I'm not going to get too deep into. Last topic goes, let me talk about this as a finish. Racism in the DoorDash driver community. Let me tell a quick story. I'm online, this is last week. I'm online waiting at Chick-fil-A. Most of you guys know the Chick-fil-A situation. They got the window. Sometimes you have to wait online with other drivers. And I'm on a very obvious line. There's like a guy in front of me, another guy in front of me, a guy at the window, and I'm at the back of the line. And some fucking guy just walks in, cuts the line, and starts asking for his order. And you know me, right? Like, I don't take shit. I'm like, hey, dude, there's a line here. And he was just like a dick, just cut the line. And he asked again. I was like, dude, there's a line here. We're all waiting here. There's a very obvious line here. And I was like aggressive with him. He's like, there's no reason to be aggressive. I'm like, look, dude, I'm waiting here like everybody else. This is obvious. Get online. So I start talking, bullshitting with the guy, kind of apologize. He's like, why are you so aggressive? I was like, listen, I'm sorry, but I'm a full-time driver and you can't just cut in front of me. This happens to be like, I consider it my Chick-fil-A. I'm here every single day. I've never seen this guy before. Part of the story is he had like a very slight Indian accent, okay? Perfect English, slight Indian accent. Then at one point we're talking, he says, well, at least you speak English. That kind of pissed me off because I feel that just because somebody doesn't have perfect English doesn't mean that they don't deserve to be in the States, doesn't mean that they're an illegal immigrant. So this leads into the second part of the story where I was debating with somebody on Facebook, and barely debating. They're saying, oh, illegal immigrants are stealing all the orders. They're using fake accounts and multiple phones. And I think that it's like, there's so much like low-key racism out there. Like, just because the guy's English isn't good and he's got two phones doesn't mean he's doing it. Some guys have two phones because they like to use, well, first of all, a lot of guys will use like a family member's account to get more orders. I mean, that does exist. Some guys will use I know Wilshire uses a secondary phone just for his sat nav, for his mapping, and then he uses a main phone for DoorDash and Uber Eats. But this idea that they took our jobs, you know, from South Park, this idea that illegal immigrants are taking jobs, I think it's bullshit. I think what happened is a couple years ago, the year before last, like, you could make money doing DoorDash as an idiot. You could just take every order, ignore like the bonus programs, and you could make good money. And then it got tighter where you'd have to start taking like smaller shitty orders to keep your acceptance rate up to qualify for the high level, like in DoorDash, they call it platinum, where you get all the best orders. But the thing is, not everybody was smart enough to figure out, not everybody can bite the bullet and take like a $3 order just to get their acceptance rate up. Maybe their ego doesn't like it or whatever. But I just feel like this idea that illegal immigrants are stealing DoorDash jobs, that they're using, what is an illegal account? Most people don't have their ear to the street like I do. Like, means I'm talking to drivers on two-wheel vehicles all the time. And at one point I have talked to guys who were buying accounts, but the account would be like $800. It would only last a couple of months. Because in order to get a DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub account, you need to have a legitimate ID, either a driver's license or a California ID, and you need to attach this to a real bank, a real American bank. So I don't think fake accounts really exist. I mean, I'm not totally ignorant. I'm sure at one level they do. And at one point there was like a contingent of kind of looked like Eastern European drivers that were doing a scam, particularly on Uber, where they would get an order, they would hold it, and then they would like hold it for like 30 minutes so the payout would go up, and then they would reject it, and then somehow they would get it again, or somebody they knew would get it with a higher payout. Uber put a fucking end to that for sure. JPR Ride says, racist propaganda, apps need to improve overall service. Yeah, it really is just racist propaganda. So my point is that I was just offended by this idea that immigrants are stealing it's like such an old fucking meme. They took our jobs. You know, it's like such old bullshit. I feel like it's hard for people to adapt. So California is an unbelievable place to do deliveries. I'm still doing $24, $25 an hour even, which I guess is not really a high rate if you're like, you know, trying to be rich. But to me, it's fair. It's a fair rate for this job, especially with my limited expenses and my deal with VORO. I don't pay for anything. So I feel like drivers that have not been able to adapt, weak people, want to look outside of themselves for solutions. Where for me, it was like, all right, I'm going to look at this program. I'm going to master the program. LA Courier, my friend Eddie, he totally agrees. I agree. LA says the apps just need to be better. Exactly. But I feel like it's just racist bullshit, total fucking propaganda. And I feel that, no, immigrants are not stealing our jobs, that you're just not smart enough to adapt to the program. I take these $3 orders to get my acceptance rate up, to stay platinum so I can dash whenever I want, work whenever I want. And I've had some great weeks. Last week I made like $950. A couple weeks before I made $1150. I mean, you can make $50,000 a year. I know I made a clickbait thumbnail recently and make $100,000 a year doing DoorDash. Well, guys do this though. I've seen guys post $2,000 plus weeks on DoorDash, even 3,000 or DoorDash, all the apps, but they're working like 100 hours a week. It's very, very tough. People often say, oh, but you have no life. But yeah, if you need money, then your life is working. You know, that's just is what it is. So fuck racism, fuck these stupid comments with these drivers that haven't been able to adapt. It is what it is. All right, guys, did we pull an hour off? A little more than an hour. Guys, it was fun doing a morning podcast. Next time I'll be back on the podcast will be Sunday. I don't know what time I'll do it. I usually do them at 4 o'clock. Today, again, I'm doing it earlier because I got a crazy day. It's 10:20. I got 10 minutes before my student gets here. I got to clean up my apartment, clean up the gym, maybe rip off a quick bong hit on my own. But I appreciate your support, guys. That is Voromotors podcast number 43. If you have any additional questions or comments, you're watching this after it's streamed live, put them in the comments somewhere in any video. I will see them, and I promise to answer. I'll try my best to answer. All right, guys. Let's get to our next job now. I appreciate y'all. See you next time. Thanks, guys. See you, JPL. See you, Mr. Spoogelspore. See you, Electric Rider. Thanks, guys.